How is it going, everybody? You're watching Then About Tech, and today I'm gonna answer one very important question. Which iPhone should you buy right now, at the end of 2021 and beginning of 2022? Because as you probably know, Apple's iPhone lineup is getting bigger and bigger with more and more models, and it can get quite confusing. So today, I'm gonna make it super clear and I'm gonna answer that question, so by the end, you'll know for sure what's the best iPhone buy for you, okay? So without further ado, let's begin. And right at the beginning of the video, I want to make a few things very clear. One, I'm only going to talk about in this video about iPhones that Apple is still selling. So those iPhones are easy to buy, you can go ahead, buy them. So I'm not going to talk about old, hard to find iPhones because it kind of defeats the purpose of this video. So those iPhones are the SE2, so the SE for second generation, the iPhone 11, 12 and 12 mini, and the iPhone 13 lineup. So 13, 13 mini, 13 Pro, and 13 Pro Max. Those are the iPhones that Apple is still selling, so I'm gonna talk about them. Also, all the prices that I'm gonna give you in this video are also from Apple's website. So you can find different prices and discounts and sales, but the whole idea will remain the same, so everything will make sense. But keep in mind, those are Apple's official prices, okay? And last but not least, all prices are correct at the recording of this video. We are in the end of 2021, so keep that in mind as well. So let's begin, and first things first, I want to talk about the SE2. So let's talk about the entry-level iPhone, the cheapest, more basic iPhone you can buy right now, which is the iPhone SE second generation. And right off the bat, I don't recommend that you buy this iPhone. It costs $399, so as I said, it's the cheapest of the bunch, but I just don't recommend. It's a bad buy. I don't recommend that you buy it for a few reasons. The iPhone SE2 is an iPhone 8 with an iPhone 11 processor. And even though it may seem nice that you have an iPhone, a cheap iPhone with a good processor, the thing is, all the rest is pretty outdated. So you have a small display with big notches. You still have a home button, so an old design. You're getting a small battery that won't last a lot, especially with the powerful processor. So battery life is pretty bad, and the camera is not good either. So I don't recommend the iPhone SE2. I don't think it's a good buy. I think you should skip it. And you may say, okay, Daniel, I understand that it's not a great phone, but I don't have a lot of cash on me. I'm on a budget and I can't go over the $400. I just have $400. I want to get a new iPhone, but I can't go over $400. And that's very important, and that's why I think this video is very important right now, because the next iPhone you can buy, the next upgrade is the iPhone 11, and it'll set you back $499, so $100 more than the SE2. And again, you may say that you don't have those $100, so you need to get the SE2. But the thing is, right now we're getting close to Christmas, Black Friday, so we'll have a ton of sales and discounts, and I'm sure you will be able to get the iPhone 11 pretty much at the same price as the iPhone SE2, maybe $420, $450. And the thing is, I do recommend that you spend a little bit more, those 20 or 50 bucks more, and get the iPhone 11, because it's a whole different story. It's a huge upgrade over the SE2. The iPhone 11 is better than the SE2 in every single way. You get a bigger display, a better display, a much more durable display. The glass is much more durable, it's much tougher, so it won't crack so easily. But of course, you have much more than that. You have two cameras instead of one. The main camera is better than the SE, much better than the SE, and the second camera is an ultra wide. You can do so many things with that extra camera. The battery life is absolutely so much better than the SE2. And of course, you're having a much more updated design as a whole. So you're having a big display with pretty much no bezels, just the notch. So with gestures, not the home button anymore, with Face ID. So you're getting so much more iPhone for a little more cash. So I don't recommend SE2. Skip the SE2, save a little bit more, look for those sales and discounts, Black Friday, Christmas, and things like that, and get the iPhone 11. I do recommend it. After that, let's talk about the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone 12. You may have realized that Apple is not selling the iPhone 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max, and that's because Apple will only sell you a Pro iPhone if it's the latest generation. So since they have the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max, they just discontinued the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max, which makes sense because if you want to get a Pro phone, you need to get the latest version of it, not last year's Pro iPhone. So iPhone 12, Apple will only sell you if it's a normal 12 or a 12 mini. So let's start with the 12 mini that starts at $599, so $100 more than the iPhone 11. And again, that's an iPhone that I do not recommend. I just don't recommend, and I strongly don't recommend for one big reason: battery life. The iPhone 12 mini has like flagship specs. I mean, it has one of the latest processors, good cameras, a lot of RAM memory and everything as you can imagine, good display. But the thing is, it's so tiny, it's so small that the battery life the battery itself just can't keep up. So battery life is really bad. Like, it will always end in the middle of the day. It's so bad, it's so annoying. So don't get the iPhone 12 mini. If you want to get a small flagship iPhone, let's talk about the 13 mini. We're going to talk about it in a second, but no, don't get the 12 mini. You regret so much. Okay, so now that we know that we won't get the 12 mini, let's talk about the regular 12. And that'll start at $699. So we're talking about $200 more than the iPhone 11. And of course, we're getting quite a lot of improvements. So we have a new design, the squared off design. And that's nice. I really like that design. And no LED display. So finally, the entry level phone, so the 12, is getting a no LED display. Keep in mind that the iPhone 11 has an LCD display, so that's a very nice display on the iPhone 12 with ceramic shield, so super durable, super hard display that won't break very easily at all. We have 5G, better cameras, better processors, so it's a good upgrade overall, but it's $200 more. So my recommendation here is, if you are on a budget and if you don't want to spend more than $500, or maybe you are an SE2 buyer and you just saved a little bit of money to get the iPhone 11, stick to the 11. The iPhone 11 is a great buy still today at the end of 2021 and beginning of 2022. But if you have those extra $200, if $700 is okay for you, if you can't spend the $200, it's a worth upgrade. It's a good upgrade, and I do recommend that if you can, go and buy the iPhone 12. It's a good iPhone. You're getting quite a lot of iPhone for the money, right? Now, let's talk about the latest, the greatest lineup, the iPhone 13 lineup. Beginning with the iPhone 13 mini. The 13 mini will set you back $699, so $700, and I would only recommend it if you absolutely need a tiny iPhone, a small display, a tiny iPhone. And I can recommend the 13 mini, different from the 12 mini, because the 13 mini has a slightly better battery. Apple fixed it due to, of course, software optimization. The processor is much more efficient, so then it could still, on a pinch, give you 1 day of battery life if you don't use it too much. So if you absolutely need a tiny display and you want a flagship phone with flagship specs and latest and greatest Apple can give you, you can go for the iPhone 13 mini, but keep in mind it's a pricey phone for such a tiny device. So keep that in mind, okay? So now let's talk about the iPhone 13, the regular 13. And that should set you back $799, so that's $800, and it's not a big upgrade compared to the iPhone 12. That's why it's only $100 more. So it's not a big upgrade. You have the same design, cameras got a little bit better, battery is a little bit better, the processor is pretty much the same. You get a smaller notch, and then that's pretty much it. So I would only recommend getting the iPhone 13 if you're not coming from the 12. So if you already own an iPhone 12 right now, don't go and buy the 13. It just doesn't make any sense. I would only recommend the 13 if you're coming from an iPhone 11 or earlier, and then you want to get a better phone with better specs, an updated phone, then the iPhone 13 is a good buy, even though it's $800, but it is a good buy only if you're coming from older iPhones. Again, I wouldn't recommend buying an iPhone 13 if you are an iPhone 12 owner. The upgrades just aren't worth it. And last but not least, of course, let's talk about the 13 Pro. The best iPhone Apple has ever made, the best iPhone you can buy in the world right now. That's the flagship iPhone. So let's begin. So the iPhone 13 Pro will set you back $999, so that's $1,000. And the thing is, I can only recommend it to you if you really are a Pro user. And that's because the iPhone 13 Pro is very similar to the iPhone 13. The only difference you're getting is the camera, and it's not a lot really. You can see testings and everything like that. It will just change a little bit in low light scenarios. I mean, camera is pretty much the same if you compare it to the iPhone 13. It is a little bit better, but you only take advantage, again, if you are a Pro user, if you're a photographer, a video maker, if you work with your iPhone. Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense. You can take advantage, of course, of ProMotion as well, which is the 120 hertz refresh rate that the displays on the iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max have. But again, it's a tough sell. I could only recommend if you're a Pro iPhone user or if you always want to get the best. I mean, if you want to get the best iPhone, go ahead and buy it. If you have the money, go ahead and buy it. But if not, I mean, if you want to be rational, it doesn't make any sense for 99% of people to get the 13 Pro. I mean, unless you are a Pro, as I said before. And talking about the 13 Pro Max, it's $100 more, so $1,100. And the only difference between the Pro Max and the Pro is the screen size, of course. So the display is a little bit bigger at 6.7 inches, and you get a slightly bigger battery, which will give you around 1 more hour every cycle of battery usage. So it's interesting as well. So my recommendation here is, if you are a Pro user or if you just want to get the best, go ahead and get the Pro Max. You're already spending $1,000 on a phone. So spend those extra $100 so you get a bigger display and a better battery. And the battery on the 13 Pro Max is absolutely ridiculous. I've been using this guy right here and it's absolutely insane. I can't get to 40% on a day. It's amazing. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I wanted to give you. My iPhone buyer's guide, let's say, which iPhone you should buy, talking about every single model, advantages, disadvantages, what's worth it, what's not worth it, what you should go for, what you should avoid. So I just hope this helps you and this makes everything a little bit clearer when you go ahead and you want to buy a new phone right now at the end of the year, at the beginning of next year. This will make sense throughout the next 6 months. So I just hope I could help you with that decision, with deciding which iPhone is the best buy for you. All right, so that's pretty much it. If you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe button and bell icon so you get notified whenever I post a new video every single time. And on top of that, hit the comment box down below. Tell me what you thought about this video, if you agree with me or not, if you're gonna follow my guide or not, and tell me if you have any questions or doubts. I'll be sure to have a look at everything and answer as soon as I can. Okay, so that's it, and I'll see you guys on my next video as usual. Bye bye.